Hello everybody. When my wife and I were in our 20s, we had to go to Scotland, and while we were going up there, for reasons I'm not going to, we decided to camp for a fortnight. Now, all my work colleagues said we were mad. You'll get rained on, and so you shouldn't go up to Scotland. You get soaking wet through, and we had a wonderful time, wonderful weather. I think we had 1 night's bad weather, and it rained into the tent. Anyway, we couldn't afford our own vehicle, so we hired this Ford Anglia, and it never missed a beat for us, and it took some really bashing on the hills, because we went lots and lots of hills. But here you can see that we had everything, and well, everything at that time. His own table and chairs. There's we had a nice tent, and everything that was in there. Now, on this particular site, I think we were at Calendar, or the television programme was Danik Beret, Dr. Finlay, and it was a lovely site actually, and I love a little village close by. But I'll just move on to the next slide. Well, here you can see my wife tightening the guy rope. You can see it, the guy rope at the front was slack, and it, I don't know because why it was slack, if it had been windy or not, I can't remember. But if you look at the bottom of the guy rope, you'll see some really thick elasticated pieces, and these allowed the tent to move about a bit and be stable at the same time if it was windy. And a couple in the next tent were about 50 years of age, I think, and there was only about 6 tents on that particular site. You can see hills in the background, classical photography for Scotland, although they get much bigger than that. And this is actually a canal, and I forgot what it's called now, but it goes, I think, from one side to the other, Scotland maybe. But I'll check up on that for you at another point in a later date, and I'll ask the Oracle, which is my wife. She remembers all these things. But I don't know if you can see my shoes, suede shoes. They were very, very soft, and not many people had them at that time, and they were very, very comfortable. I think they were called desert boots. Yeah, that's right. We were fascinated by the water, so clear. It had a peat base to it, which was brown, but you can see you can see how clear it is. But just look at these boulders, how they've been forced down from the mountains at some point. And no doubt it's ongoing all the time. And by the time they get to the seaside, probably grains of sand. But it was a wonderful place to be, and I'm afraid the slides that we took then, just a basic camera, and the slide quality wasn't very good at that time, but it was the best we could get. But what really impressed us more than anything was the light. I think this might have been 11 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, or even 11:30 at night, and it was wonderful, wonderful light, and I'll never forget it actually. Now, depending on what time of year you go, is what you'd be like for flies, and I have to say, we hardly saw any flies at all. I don't know what time of year we went, but it must have been summer, and we were very fortunate. And this was a trout farm, I believe. Yeah, that's right. Memories coming back to me now. This was the overspill for the farm itself, and I think one of the regulations at that time is that they had to have lots of water going in there. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful memories. If you can ever get to Scotland, please go. Lovely place. Put lots of mileage in while I was there, and we were in the middle of nowhere actually. I'm not quite sure how we came across this. Oh, we were going to another campsite, and here in the middle of nowhere we saw this lone piper. Now bagpipes, some people don't like them, but when you hear a bagpipe play in the open like that where he was, it's an haunting sound, and wonderful, wonderful sound. In its own environment, it's even more poignant. I think this was an SAS training ground at that point. And the memory don't serve me really well, but it's something we conquer. And we just came across it in the middle of nowhere, and it blows your mind away really when you see it. It's just wonderful. This is a dedication to John Cobb, who I think broke the land water speed record at that time, and it would be about 200 miles an hour, I think. And you just come across these things. You don't think you're going to see anything at all, and then all of a sudden there's something out there for you to see. And I can't honestly say what it'd be like now, but back then there was hardly any people around, and you've got the place to yourself, and tranquil. It was lovely, absolutely wonderful tranquility, and hardly any sound anywhere apart from the odd vehicle pulling up at the side of it maybe. I did mention earlier that the weather was kind to us, and here you can see that it's short sleeves, and it was like that all the time actually. And on this particular lake there was quite a few swans, and but I don't know what it is. I do keep a diary, but I didn't keep one then. I've kept a diary, page a day diary that is, since 1977. Well, I've mentioned the light before to you, and this again was late at night, but it didn't come across as nice as I expected this film, but of course at that time it was a snappy type thing, and had no adjustments and no lenses or anything like that. It was a point and aim sort of thing, and it didn't always give the best picture. But you can see the mountains. Actually there's 3 mountain ranges there, and I thought it was worth doing that just for perspective. And later on in life, when I've always been interested in art, but later on in life when I retired, I took apart, I hadn't done any since school, and this is the sort of thing I remembered how to draw. You can see that the mountains are receding in size as the further you go away, and in the daytime they go blue. Everything's blue, and of course it all brought up that to me, and I thought it was just a wonderful photograph to take at that time. Well, I always wanted to try and get the best shots, but I think this was on possibly Loch Ness or Ullswater, and we did go on to Loch Ness, and I did get a picture of that, and I can't find it for you, and I do apologise for that, but I'll try and find it later. The thing about Scotland is the light changes all the time, and this particular view gives you some indication how beautiful the landscapes are. The wide open spaces, the vistas are breathtaking, and the further we went up Scotland, the more impressive it seemed to be, and the difference in light was incredible. I couldn't believe how light it was, and how fresh the air looked, and it would have been wonderful to be painting up there. Just a few shots of showing you that how different the light changes. You can see the light to the left, and while I was just after taking the shot, the light was on the right and it was dark on the left, and the watercolour kept changing all the time. The scenery was constantly changing, and it made for a beautiful, serene, calming area to be in. And when we came back, actually, we didn't want to come back. It was so nice, and can you blame us when there's views like this to see all the time? You know, just easy going, straightforward, lovely holiday with nobody to bother us at all, and wonderful views as well. This monument was for, I can't remember what this monument was for, and it was right at the top, and once again I was trying to fit a picture in when it was getting dark, well it was dusk, and the camera just wouldn't pick the light up for me, but it would be late on in the day, and you know, we took full advantage of the long days. Actually, I love the dusk and the long days and the summer nights, and that was even more something extra special to be able to be up there when it wasn't getting dark until about an hour later than it would be at home. Absolutely wonderful it was. Now, I mentioned earlier about lakes and Loch Ness. I mentioned, well, I think Loch Ness is about 23 miles long, so you could well imagine something being in there and not being seen for years and years on end. And you can see the vastness of these lakes, and you know, sometimes people saw ripples on the water and they thought that was not Nessie, and it turned out with a high-powered telescope to be, when they got close onto it, it turned out to be a deer swimming from one side and the other. And so when it was calm like this, it was easy to spot things on the water, and but it was often very choppy. And these pictures are just giving you some idea of what diversity it was really. And again, what I was after taking pictures that were so different from one another all the time. I guess if I had today's equipment and did the same pictures again, they would look absolutely superb. but you do what you can at the time, and I hope I'm just giving you a rough idea of diversity. Oh, I should mention, by the way, that some people have told me to speak in dialect. That's why I'm speaking in dialect. And if you can't understand me, please let me know, and I will. I'll try and make my dialect less harsh. In fact, just to prove a point, if you look to the off-centre of the picture to the left, in the water itself, it looks as though there's something in there now, which is not really, because it's wind swirling around in various directions. And the other bits you can see on the water is actually bits I couldn't get off the slides. So, you know, but people think, oh, look at that, I can see something on the water. But on the right hand side, of course, there's a castle there, and there's quite a few castles you can go and look around. And at that time we could do it for free. I dare say you'll have to there'll be a charge now, and possibly charging on car parking, which there wasn't at that time. Everywhere we went seemed to be different, and just look at the clarity of that water. And there's a boat there, somebody's boat, and it looks like another castle. And I don't know what was at the other side of that mountain, but everywhere looked different. And of course there was always places, remains of old castles that you could walk around as well. And once again you can see, and it was late at night, how with shirt sleeves and how warm it was. And so, yeah, we were very lucky with the weather. This shot was one of the rare occasions when we met somebody else. There was hardly any other people around at that time. And it was one of those shots of remembrance because at this point, we were going to have to go back south, from the north. But you can see right across the back there, right into the mountains. And another wonderful sight. We couldn't fault it at all. Short, we packed our camping gear up and started to make our way south, home again, and we felt that we couldn't go home without stopping off and looking at the blacksmith shop at Gretna Green where people get married. I think you have to be there a few weeks before you can get married, but well worth stopping over and looking at this particular interesting piece. I'm afraid that's it. The last shot is just a remembrance shot, really, to remember how things were when we were there. In fact, it's a duplicate when I look at it. But what a wonderful time we had, and I hope you enjoyed the slides.